and welcome back to the MMA Split Pick Show / podcast, because we're only doing one show this week, and this is the third goddamn time we've tried to record it. I appreciate all of our audience don't understand how frustrating it is. They're only going to see the final result. It has been a mission for me and Josh. We have been failed by technology, connections, my laptop. We don't know what the fucking problem is, but I'm going to find out. Whoever is at fault is getting shouted at, unless it's me, in which case I'll forgive myself. But that's a different question. We got Gastelum versus Cannonier, UFC 34. The rest of the fights aren't as interesting, but we're going to spend 5 minutes talking about this main event, and then we're going to run through the other ones. We've said this already, but we're Gastelum fans. We're worried about this fight for him. It's a bad style matchup. Josh, go.
I'm just going to talk at a normal pace.
Probably smart.
Unfortunately, I can't do that. Okay. Man, this Gastelum, he is very much doing for Cannonier for him and what Gastelum has done for others in chasing his losses and taking the wrong fight, looking to bounce back quick. Gastelum has wonderful hands, very flowy, very nice, quite heavy, but he can get on the inside. He is just, weight-wise, he is not necessarily the smallest middleweight, although he could certainly probably make a run at welterweight. But in terms of his actual height, his reach, you know, he is on the smallest of the scale, and Cannonier hits goddamn hard. It's not going to play into Cannonier's game plan per se, but Gastelum can't find a way to get it down to the ground, and I don't think that he can dance in and out for 5 rounds without getting caught by Spud. And yes, Kelvin has a granite chin. However, this because it has been tested often. And, you know, Frankie Edgar had never been finished. And then he gets finished 3 times in a row. Well, not in a row, but, you know, three knockout defeats in a short space of time. It's like Diego Sanchez could never be finished. And there was it Joe Lozon knocks him out the first time. Ally Quinto, who was it? I can't remember it. There's been a bunch of guys since. It's when it goes, and what we see is that this guy fights a little. He likes getting scrappy on the inside, and Cannonier hits too hard. I just think Cannonier is going to win this fight by TKO.
There's 2 big worries I've got for Gastelum. On paper, he's got the wrestling threat that should be able to give Cannonier potential problems. I think Cannonier, he's not the tallest guy, but he's got a massive reach advantage. I do feel that Cannonier does his best work at a slightly kind of mid to long range. He likes to be able to catch guys at the end of the punches and then be able to have enough space to land those shorter combinations. I feel if Gastelum can really crowd him, get him to a position where he's pressed up against the cage, he's got his head buried into his chest, he's clinching and dirty boxing, I think there's something there. But that's what Jack Madsen tried to do and ended up getting caught with a monster uppercut trying to change levels. One of the big worries with Cannonier is he's a very patient fighter. He doesn't throw a lot of volume. It's not to say that he's gun shy. He just knows that he's got enough power that he doesn't need to be reckless with the punches he throws. He only needs a few to connect properly, and he's going to win. So he's not throwing out reckless punches. You're not getting a lot of wild 1-2s that are going to give you that space to dive under and get the takedown counter. On top of that, if you look at something like the Whittaker fight, the thing that really won the Whittaker fight against Cannonier was the fact, not just his speed and movement, but the fact that he can mix the kicks in, the low kicks, the 1-2 with the high kick coming afterwards, really taking advantage of Cannonier looking to slip on the outside when the cross comes through and then landing that head kick. Almost finished him with that combination. Gastelum is so boxing heavy. There's nothing that comes with the kicks, really, maybe a couple of body kicks, but nothing that's going to trouble Cannonier too much. And to be honest, if Gastelum is standing at kicking range, I think he's really in trouble in this fight. It's got to be blitzing in, blitzing out, and really taking the fight to the ground. Cannonier has knocked people out at heavyweight. If there's a guy who's going to test your chin in this middleweight division, it's him. I agree with you, man. I think this is Michael Bisping-esque, desperate to not be the guy that lost, 4 out of 5 fight of his last 5 fights, and trying to get that one win that's going to take him right back to the top rather than just kind of working his way back through the rankings to get there. I think Cannonier knocks him out. I think it's going to be maybe 3rd or 4th round. I don't think he catches him early, but as soon as he's 1-2 rounds up on the scorecards and Gastelum has to start chasing him, I think it's going to go south very, very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So we're both going Gastelum by Cannonier by knockout, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Right. Clay Guida, he taking on Mark O. Madsen. Clay Guida said in his last fight, I'm done fighting these vets. Give me these young, hungry guys. Doesn't get younger and hungrier than Mark Madsen, former Olympian in Greco-Roman wrestling for Denmark, undefeated record. We, again, talked about this yesterday when we first recorded the show, but Clay Guida, he can put the pressure on you. He's got that work rate and that pace that can really test you and show whether or not you're good or you're great. He's given excellent guys big trouble in the past, but his wrestling is very much unpolished, a little rough around the edges. A lot of it is his work rate and his grind that gets it done rather than the actual wrestling technique itself. Composed and flip side, compare that to Mark Madsen. The guy's got Olympian level wrestling, very explosive. It's just a different level of muscle definition of power. What Clay Guida does in 4 takedown attempts, I feel Mark Madsen's going to do in 1. And I think that's going to be the difference in this fight. I'm saying Mark Madsen by decision. Josh.
Yeah, Marco Madsen, he finishes fights by TKO, submission, decision, but all of them happen on the ground. This guy is Damian Maia level, one flavor kind of guy, specialist of specialists. And yeah, Clay Guida's got a great wrestling game, but it's an MMA wrestling game. It's a counterpoint to an opponent's striking game and movement. Marco Madsen's not really going to be threatening too much on the feet. I have so much respect for Clay Guida. I love how consistent he is. He burps every goddamn fight. Never fails. Always burps. Love the man. But yeah, man, Marco Madsen. Oh, I love Clay Guida's attitude. I want to believe in him. I want to be sensible here. I'm going to pick Marco Madsen by decision.
Sensible pick. Sensible pick. And listen, Clay Guida has got nothing to lose. He got given a new UFC contract. They love him. They know what he is. They know where he stands. He's going to deliver every time. He's just not going to get the win on this situation, in my opinion. Fun co-main event. We'll touch on whether that should be the co-main event because there's some other good fights that are a bit lower down, but I'm surprised maybe aren't higher.
Not even on the main card. That would have been my co-main.
I know. We'll talk about that. But to be fair, Clay Guida, former Strikeforce champion, UFC veteran, deserving of the co-main slot on name value alone. Following that, before that, we've got a heavyweight clash. They always like to stick a heavyweight before the last 2 co-main events just to get some action going. I don't know if they picked the right guys to do that because we've got Parker Porter versus Chase Sherman. Parker Porter, so much to like about this guy, but he does get tired. Chase Sherman, his second stint in the UFC, I believe.
I don't know if I'm being stupid here, but I wanted to say third. Maybe it is second. It's just this second one's been a little less active.
It could be third.
On paper, these guys are real fun guys. And Chase Sherman's got a halfway decent social media game. But I hate to say shit like this, but for me, these guys are kind of perennial disappointments. I'm always hyping them up a little too much, and they're always just falling flat. It could be a fun fight. It's 265, right? They earn their spot in the main card by weight alone. It is what it is.
And very much, I feel that these are, you know, we're seeing with Cyril Gahn and a lot of the heavyweights coming through like Tom Aspinall, the athletic heavyweights, the technical heavyweights that are starting to come through. I very much feel these are examples of guys that are just big and heavy. And that's why they're heavyweights.
Throwbacks.
They're throwbacks. Good use of the word. I like that. Throwbacks. I'm going to say Chase Sherman just on a little bit of experience and just because Parker Porter has had some 2 dud fights I've watched in the UFC. But this is not on my watch list. This is not on. I'm not circling this fight when I'm looking at the card in anticipation.
Yeah, man, I'm going Chase Sherman too, and it's very much that philosophy: best of a bad bunch. So, yeah, I'm barely picking Chase Sherman. I remember I said that last time. I'm gonna bring that back in here. Honestly, this is worse than the lost episode. You know, the lost episode, the best episode we ever recorded. But
I didn't record.
Yeah, we've got this shit recorded. We could release it. It's just unwatchable.
I know. Shit happens. If this was a live show, we'd say this is live show business, but it's not. It's just fucking shit happens sometimes. We're dealing with it. But you're coming clearer now, so
yeah, we recorded Eric Anders. What more do you want from us?
Exactly. More Eric Anders? I'm working on it. I'm obviously working on it. Trying to go on the angle of, you've got a podcast now. Do you want to come talk about your podcast rather than fights?
Yeah, we can definitely help you promote that.
Yeah. We have an Instagram
surprise for you, actually. I'll talk to you later about something. I've got something else cooking up.
Very nice. We'll touch on that later. For now, we got to look at Trevin Jones. Yesterday.
Oh, hang on. I don't know if we made the proper picks. Sherman by KO. Did you do method?
Oh, sorry. I said Sherman by decision.
Decision. All right, fair play.
Okay. Trevin Jones. Yesterday, he was fighting one guy with an 8-2 record. Today, he's fighting a different human being who also has an 8-2 record.
Wait, hang on. Is it? So it's not Kaharamonov?
No. It is Kaharamonov now. It was some guy with an M yesterday.
Because you never know with Trevin Jones. His every fight he gets scheduled for has some kind of weird little drama to it. The guy just doesn't want to do. He's not boring. The guy doesn't do boring.
No,
he's 5-star for a goddamn reason.
Certainly not. Love Trevin Jones. Really won me over with his last win. And I don't think you can look past Trevin Jones by knockout for this fight.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm going 5-star by KO.
Outstanding. Same here. This is worrying. The last time that we were identical on picks, we had a horrible showing. Let's see if we're going to have some difference.
Yeah, it's not like it's the only time we've been close on picks, though. It's just
True.
It's the last time.
True.
And that is...
Sorry, go.
Right.
No, you go
first. I was going to say, like, that is probably the first time that either of us finished underneath 500 on the picks. You know, we always pick more right than we get wrong. And then the 1 week that both of us do abysmal. I think, what is it? I went 9-3. No, 9. I went 8.
You got 2 right. I got 3
6.
right. It was literally fucking Yanez over Costa that got me that win.
Yeah, 2 and 9, 8 and 3. It was,
and Sly didn't even pick that week. Sly didn't even pick that week. So I
was one off winning.
Next up, Vince Pichel taking on one of my personal fan favorites, Austin Thub Hubbard. This guy is not the best. He's not got the best record in the UFC, but fuck me, if he loses, it's close. He's always in the fight. Really tough guy. Lots to like about him. I don't think he's got the skills to beat Vince Pichel. I don't know a lot about him, but I was watching a few highlights last night. The guy's got hands. He can land devastating counters when people are coming on the inside.
From hell, Pichel is OG, son. Okay, you know, it's unfortunate this guy hasn't been able to be more active, but he's not a throwback. You know, even when he kind of came in through the Ultimate Fighter, he was very much an all-round, scrappy, tough guy. But he's next level tough. He's next level scrappy. Think like a less technical Cub Swanson, and maybe you know, less variety in the kicking game. But, you know, Vince can do it all, and I fucking love the guy. I'm going from hell Pichel by decision, and I have no complaints about this one being on the main card. This is going to be a fun fucking fight.
Oh no, this is one of the. There are 4 fights. No, actually, to be fair, all the main card fights have got something to them. It's just the heavyweight fight I'm not the biggest fan of.
Yeah.
I also think Vince Pichel is going to win. I also think it's going to be by decision because Austin is a tough fucking dude. And this should be fun.
This is good matchmaking.
Kicking off the card, though. What a fight to kick off the card. Flyweight clash. My word, the flyweights have been bringing it recently. Alexander Pantoja versus a guy that we're very excited about, Brandon Royval. Came unstuck against Brandon Moreno. I don't think he's going to be the last fighter that has trouble against Brandon Moreno. Obviously, he dislocated his shoulder, so the whole situation was a little bit awkward. But this guy's got loads of potential. Super exciting. We also talked about this fight before we had tech issues yesterday. I think you and I just both feel that we don't know if we've seen enough from Royval at the highest level to really know where he stands. The Kai Kara-France fight, he almost gets dropped and then pulls off a great counter and wins. And then the Brandon Moreno fight was over before it began. Yeah,
very high on this guy. Very impressed. But it's just, we have to be honest. We've seen so much more of Pantoja. And this guy fucking exciting too. You know, was he ranked number 3 right now?
Yeah.
Also, did I hear you right? Has this been bumped up to the main card now?
I've got it on the main card.
I think perfect. Because when we were recording this yesterday, they still had this headline in the prelims, which we thought was a bit weird. Because frankly, both of us would love to see this one as the co-main. I'm gonna go Pantoja, but it's just hard to pick against a guy that good. just because you know that the other guy's exciting. I really don't know who's going to win this fight. That's what I'm trying to say here. I don't know why I'm sugarcoating it. I don't know who's going to win this fight. I'm picking Pantoja because I just feel like that's the smart thing to say. And I'm going to say by decision because unless Royval's shoulder goes again, and it is the sort of injury that's going to reoccur with him, unfortunately. I think he's a real tough son of a bitch. I think he's going to be in the fight all the way to the end. I think this could be fight of the night.
Fair enough. I'm also going Pantoja. He's got the ring resume. He's fought the higher level of competition. He's got a win over the champ. He's only lost to, I think, let me check. I think he's lost to Figueiredo. And I think he lost to Askar Askarov.
Fair enough. How did he lose to Figgy?
I'll tell you.
Was it a split decision? Am I remembering this right?
I think you're remembering this right. It was a decision. It was most likely a split decision. Yeah, 2019, I vaguely remember this fight. It was close. It was close. It's not coming straight to mind. But also, I mean, he's beaten Matt Schnell. He's beaten Brandon Moreno. He's beaten a lot of good guys, and he's only lost to the best. I think you've got to pick Pantoja on this one. But if you're putting bets down and Royval's a bit of an underdog, it might be worth a few quid.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't looked at the odds here, but if given like good odds on Royval, yeah, fucking stick it in your Aki or just put like maybe like a decent chunk down on that one. Because
exactly. Potentially fight of the night, great one. I would have put it as co-main event, but they're kicking off the main card, which is a good spot to be as well. That's our picks for the main card. Let's run through these prelims. Headlining the prelims, we've got Austin Lingo back to take on Luis Saldana. Josh, your thoughts on this one?
Jesus Christ. It's another one I don't really know who to pick. I think it could be a fun fight. Both guys I like. Fuck. I'll go. Shit, what was Saldana's last fight?
Saldana's last fight was... he beat Jordan Griffin.
Yeah, I'm going to go Saldana by decision.
You're going Saldana by decision. You know what? Yeah. We can't be identical all the way through. I'm going to go Austin Lingo by decision, just so we got a bit of a split going. Next up, one of our favorites, Boom himself, Brian Kelleher, is back fighting at bantamweight, taking on Domingo Pilarte. 8-2 record. I don't know much about Domingo, but big Kelleher fan. He's not the best of bantamweight has to offer, but he's going to beat a lot of guys that aren't top 15 level fighters. And I think that's going to be what happens. I'm going to say Kelleher by submission.
I'm going to go Kelleher by KO.
Nice. Boom always brings some violence. So let's see what happens there. Can always get a quick finish as well. Women's bantamweight, we've got Bia Malecki taking on Josiane Nunes. No relation to Amanda Nunes. 4-0 against 7-1. Full disclosure, I cannot remember either of these ladies. So I'm just going to take a punt and say Nunes by KO. Why the fuck not?
I'm going to go Malecki by decision.
Hey, we got some splits. How about that? Light heavyweight clash next up. We got a guy that I'm very excited to see come back. William Knight taking on Fabio Charant. William Knight, I don't know if he ended up having this fight. Oh, that's right. He lost to Jung Dao Un. I think he got a little bit overwhelmed in that one.
Yeah.
I wasn't so big on Jung Dao Un, and then he surprised me.
Man, I changed my mind as soon as he walked out to Rocky. What a legend. I'm gonna go Charant by decision.
Both guys coming off
losses.
Charant lost to Mennefield. William Knight lost to Jung Dao Un. Jung Dao Un really impressed me. I still feel that Knight's the better fighter. I'm going to say Knight by KO. Are you sticking with Charant or are you switching to Knight?
I'm going to stay with Charant.
Nice. Lightweight clash next up. We've got Roosevelt Roberts taking on Ignacio Bahamondes. That's got to be one of the best names in the UFC. Roosevelt Roberts, so much promising stuff when he first came into the UFC. And he certainly had his moments, but came a little unstuck against Jim Miller, has come unstuck against Vince Pichel. We've already talked about how good that guy is. And his last fight was a draw against Kevin Kroom. I remember that fight.
Yeah.
Kevin Kroom just managed to work his way into getting something there, put some good work in at the end to win it. Ignacio Bahamondes, I don't remember this guy. Let me look up his fight. Oh, that's right. He lost to John McDessie. You know what?
Yeah,
I'm going to say Roosevelt Roberts, but I'm not the biggest fan of this guy. I don't think he's as good as he thinks he is. Kind of similar to my feelings on Andre Ewell, and they kind of look similar as well, which is weird. Maybe I just have a discrimination against.
I
don't know.
They got that like tall, long thing going. Similar kind of hair sometimes. I'm going Roberts as well. I'll go Roberts by KO.
We're Roberts by decision. We got some split there. And then welterweight clash. I don't know why they said this was at middleweight, or we thought this was at middleweight when we did the picks yesterday. Sasha Palatnikov taking on Ramiz Brahimi. Palatnikov, super tall for this division, 6'1", very lanky. Only a half-inch reach advantage, though, against an opponent that is 5'8". So that's interesting.
Some guys have got long arms, you know. I'll go Palatnikov by decision.
I'll go Brahimi just so we got a couple of splits. And I'll say decision as well. We did it!
I think Sly hasn't emailed anything in this week. It's just you and me again.
It's just you and me. Just you and me. Sly's
fuck it then, son. We already won. You know my philosophy. Anyone but Sly.
Anyone but Sly. ABS. ABS. We did the picks. This is awesome. This is great news. We've even got time to touch on a little bit of news. We did some news yesterday. None of that's going to feature, but I saw this news story today.
None of it's usable.
None of it's usable, but I saw this story today and it did surprise me. Brendan Schaub pulled three or four children out of a, I think the car might have been on fire, but it certainly didn't look like a good situation. You weren't just going to leave the kids in there. And their mum,
the mum's kind of everywhere. Like she's been,
heartbreaking story.
Horrible.
The mum's boyfriend did it intentionally and drove the wrong way down the road specifically to hit them and try and kill her. He drives by, and the story he tells, it will fucking break your heart, man. He saw the eldest kid was standing on the car trying to wave for help, saw that it was a kid, ran in and was pulling the kids out. And obviously one of them is just going, mama, mama, mama. And he's seeing that fucking brains are everywhere. And it's just like, no, look at me. Don't look at that. Look at me. Look at me. Yeah. Fucking really nice. And him talking about it afterwards, you can tell how much it's really affected him. He's talking about trying to raise some money to help the kids. He was talking about what he said to the guy, the eldest kid, just saying like, you're so brave, dude. Like I don't even know you, but I'm so fucking proud of you. I'd seen the story. I didn't know it was Brendan Schaub. I like Brendan Schaub a lot. I think the guy's got a heart of gold, and good on him, but fucking tragic. And I hope that guy fucking rots in a prison cell for the rest of his life.
Yeah, it sounds like it's potentially like a mental health thing as well. Like he's saying he got a message from God. He was saying this ahead of time as well. The mother actually had time to phone her brother, was on the phone to her brother before it all happened. Just
oh fuck.
It's a really, really tragic, horrific thing that's happened. Well done, that kid though. What a brave, smart kid. And well done, Brendan Schaub. And I think there's a couple other people on the scene helped out as well.
Well, what's amazing about it though, and I think this is the thing that stands out for me, is that it's amazing how many people will eventually help once the first person goes in. But it's incredible how many people drive past. Like, I think even Brendan Schaub's girl was sort of saying, it's just a crash, just leave it. And it was him saying, no, that's a kid. Like, I'm going to go in and stop. So it's a lot of people just drive by. He didn't. Fair play to the guy. One news story I want to just touch on, we did touch on yesterday, but Weili Zhang making every excuse under the book as to why she lost to Rose. That fight looks like, that rematch looks like it's going to be the next fight for Rose, but she's now saying it's shouldn't be. And she's saying Chris Weidman's leg break is the reason that she lost, because, Rose wasn't affected at all by that. Only Weili Zhang. Talked about it yesterday, but I just want to get your thoughts again. I hate seeing people making excuses when they lose.
Yeah, I think we're willing to be sympathetic to the fact that maybe she's been pushed into a position where she has to say this. It was a Chinese interview. We don't really know how she gets prepped for these, but obviously they want to promote like Chinese athletes having like tangible excuses. Maybe something's forced upon her. If it's not, it's beyond sour grapes. This is some Paulo Costa level ridiculousness. Just bullshit.
Oh, he's been
I
making
don't know.
excuses as well. A year later,
Yeah.
he's still saying it's because
did
of
not
the
see that
wine.
coming.
He said, "If I would definitely be able to beat Adesanya if I'm sober."
Oh, if only that had been an option. Like, this fucking guy.
My favorite one is him saying
didn't he,
that. Sorry, go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to
I was
say,
just gonna
just the
say,
fact.
did he pull out this?
Oh, we're doing it. I'm just going to say,
Sorry, bro.
he's fighting in a place where he had an extra 9 hours to recover from the weight cut. And he's saying that because he had that extra 9 hours, he lost. So yes, I get that you were fighting in the morning. It's not like you were fighting in the previous morning. It's not like you had less time to recover from your massive weight cut. You had more time. This guy, he's got a wine yard now, a vineyard. He's making wine. Just make wine, dude. If you don't want to fight anymore, let's be honest. How many really great people did you fight? Romero and Adesanya. A lot of people think you lost to Romero and you lost to Adesanya. Everyone else isn't really a top 5 fighter in the UFC.
You can maybe make an argument for Johnny Hendricks being decent on some level, but they were more than one weight class apart. And Johnny Hendricks was in that fight all the way through to the 3rd round.
And this was Johnny Hendricks when he wasn't really Johnny Hendricks anymore.
Yeah, this is Johnny Hendricks when we enjoyed watching him fight a guy that was more than one weight class heavier than him.
Exactly.
As fucked up as that sounds.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of excuse making at the moment. Do you know who isn't making excuses? I'm just going to highlight this before we wrap it up. Jorge Masvidal. He's launched Bare Knuckle MMA. They had their first event back in June. He's apparently signed Bigfoot Silver. And he's just looking for a fight, man. Doesn't care who he fights. He's got 3 guys in mind. He just wants to fight whoever's going to give him the best chance at getting another title shot. He'll take Leon. He'll take Rocky, who are the same person, obviously. He'll take Gilbert Burns. I think he'd probably take Stephen Thompson if they offered it to him. Might be on back-to-back losses to the champ, but fuck me, he's handling this well.
Yeah. And frankly, he's still a huge star at big names. So I wouldn't be surprised if his next fight is a lucrative one, headline and a pay-per-view. I mean, even if it is only going to be like as a title eliminator, this guy is that kind of draw. He's that Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor, John Jones level star at this point, and deservedly so.
Absolutely.
I would love to see him fight his way back in a title contention. I think Leon would be my favorite pick, just because obviously they never really resolved their beef. But
I agree. I'd also like to, I think Vicente Luque would be a really fun fight. I think there's a lot of fun fights for Masvidal. And let's be honest here. If Masvidal wins his next fight, and Colby, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if Colby was to knock out Usman, and not take too much damage himself, and Usman needs some months to recover, you telling me the UFC aren't going to chuck Masvidal straight into that, knowing that they can sell it with the beef that he's got with Colby and the whole history?
For sure, man. And I'd fucking love to see that fight. Unfortunately, Colby Covington has no way in hell, no chance at all of being Kamaru Usman. So it's kind of null and void. But I know what you're saying. Hypothetically, that would be some cool shit.
Hypothetically true. And yes, I also agree that he won't most likely win, but we get to see him lose again in November on a really fun card. That's going to be great. Yeah, this is a okay card. I'm going to be honest. The one coming up, I'm more excited about the main event than anything else, but it's certainly not a bad card. It's fun fights dotted through, and I'm going to be back at work in 5 minutes. So I think we should wrap it up there.
All right. Bye, Dave.
Bye, Dave. Bye, Laurie. Lightning round completed. We'll be back for a proper podcast early next week. Till then, take care, everybody. Enjoy the fights.
Bye.